take the drink and relapse. That's not the start, that's the end. I work towards feelings. You know, when you do the thing when you don't want to do it, it's like crack, man. When I woke up, he was standing at the end of my bed and I couldn't move. It was like sleep paralysis, and it was the only night ever. Fuck me, it was so scary. He always looked at me and he smiled, this random figure. And the last night I ever saw him, he
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Life is a Game. Today I'm joined by PDK.
What is up?
Do you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
So I'm Paddy, Patrick, PDKFitness. I'm an online coach, 6-year recovering alcohol and drug addict, 6-figure business owner, because I'm assuming that'll come into it. Nice guy, asshole, and I like shit shirts.
I love it. Great introduction. Me and Paddy met in Marbella about, was it like 3 weeks ago now?
Was Marbella a month ago?
God, I
Coming
don't know.
up, I think we met in the second week in Marbs. Yeah, so that was about 3 weeks ago.
Man, time flies.
Time
Jesus,
flies.
crazy
2
enough.
weeks ago now.
Yeah, we were at a social media event, so we met there and we got chatting, played a bit of paddle together, and now he's on the potty, so it wasn't about that.
Paddle winners. Paddle
Just about skin of his team job. But yeah, would you want to start us off by telling everyone how you got into coaching, how you kind of got into the online space?
Yeah, so it was a bit wild. So I was, after I came out of treatment, I was like, fuck, I need to lose weight, man. You know, I need to lose weight. So did that, and then was working in a cafe, and I actually liked it. You know, I love working in a cafe. I love working with people. I do think people are like the best things in the world. So then I got promoted to a manager in town, in another cafe in town. And I was like, fuck, you know, I've lost a good bit of weight and people are like asking me a lot of questions. Well, let's do a personal training thing. Did the personal training thing. And then shit happened in the cafe, new owners came in, didn't give me as many hours as I wanted. So like, fuck, I'm going full into it. So I started training actually in a gym around the corner and coaching people out of there. And COVID hit. And I was like, fuck, I'm broke. Thankfully, I was living in a place in town. Rent is so expensive in Galway. I was living in a place in town which was 150 quid a month, so I could make it work. Yeah, I know, like, unbelievable. Nepotism at its finest. And then COVID hit. I was like, fuck, I am broke. I wasn't actually employed, so I couldn't get the COVID benefits.
That's hard.
Eventually they lowered it from, I remember they lowered it from like 400 to 300, so I got in at 300 and I was like, sound. Then I met this guy called Barry McGuire. I met this young guy, Barry McGuire, who's now Barry's boss. He's so funny, man. So he started coaching me online, and I was like, I really want to get into the space and qualify. And he's like, I'll help you. I then just was trugging away, and then in I think 4, 6 weeks, 8 weeks of doing online coaching, I started online coaching in the September, and by the January I was up to 30. No, in the November. January was up to 30, which is a fast rise. 10 clients each month was a fast rise.
That is so insane.
By the April, I was doing 5-figure months. So, and then it's just like there's been dips and troughs since then, but that's how I got into it. I was forced into it. Never thought it would be my end thing. And then, yeah, like, honestly, I kind of like COVID because it did push me into it. I know a lot of people struggle with it, but like, I loved it.
That. And it comes back to your perception and everything. Like, it's like you always say, it can be your passport or your prison. It can hold you back. You can sit in that misery of like, oh geez, we're locked in the house, can't do anything. Or you can like make something of it, make use of your time and actually just use it to push you forward, which you obviously done in terms of coaching.
Facts.
Which is insane.
I like that, past or prison.
I would say be a passport or prison, so like it either can propel you forward or hold you back.
I like that. I'm gonna use that.
Definitely. And when it comes to, obviously, like, you kind of grew at such a fast rate, what was your motivation, or what was your like driving force behind that? Like, obviously kind of you were broke and you really wanted to make money, but what else kind of was the catalyst to growing so fast?
Jealousy.
Really?
Jealousy, yeah. I was jealous of Barry and another individual who I'm actually not mates with anymore. Jealous of how many clients they've had, and even though I had less clients but was earning in and around, if not more, the same money, I wanted more because they have it. I'm an addict. Like I always want more. Like we're addicted to everything. Like I'm addicted to, do you know that famous Conor McGregor quote? I'm addicted to spending money, but I'm also addicted to making money. I'm addicted to spending money, making money. I'm addicted. Like I spent 800 quid on trading cards last week. What? Like not even, like
obsessive personality.
Yeah. It's like this is the thing. Like we're told addiction is a disease. It's not a personality trait. In AA and NA, and like I see it because, like, if I'm playing a video game and I want to beat it, I will look out the most optimized way to do it with the least possible amount of resources. Or if I'm like managing overheads in the business, I'm like, what's the like? It's a bit bad, like, you know, because you want to go. Like, I have a great business, but like you always look to cut, as a business owner, you look to cut costs. Everything's addictive. So they had more clients, and I just wanted more, and it was a fear-based jealousy. And Barry said it to me. It was actually Barry, funny enough, who made me realize it. He's like, Paddy, anytime you get self-conscious about where you're at compared to other people's at, you work unbelievably hard, but that whole time you don't think you're working hard enough. When Barry was going viral on TikTok and Instagram, I was like, fuck, and he was getting so many calls booked in, and his business was going better, and I was like, fuck, what do I do? I started making 35 pieces of content a week, 5 pieces a day. And I was like, I'm not working hard enough. And I remember chatting to Sean about it in our podcast, and he's like, lad, I never did that. He's like, no one's done what you did. And I'm like, yeah, but it wasn't enough, bro. And he's like, you're crazy. So I started sending more warm DMs. I started sending more warm DMs because they had more clients. And then I was, trying not to be an asshole and competitive about asking how much clients you had and this, that, and the other. And that's how it grew. There was a double-edged sword because I got up to like 59 and I just couldn't manage it and burnt out. But
and it's like that mentality. I feel like once you have that instilled in you that you're not doing enough and you can't shake it, you will never do enough, no matter how much you ever do. Like it's like an open barrel. There'll never be an end to that amount, in a sense. And
it's perfected as well, because I know people who have all the actions they do the same as me. They're like, they will look at other people and think like, I can do that, whereas I'm like, I'm not doing that. And I can do that, life is so great, I have the option to do that. Mine is, I'm not doing that, I'm useless, I'm a failure. So it's like, it's this perspective, and what you said, perspective is like, you can do the journey and achieve the goal, you can do it in misery, or you can do it in gratitude, you can do it in grace. And I'm like still trying to figure out how to do gratitude and figure it in grace, but it's still like a trait in a journey that I don't regret, because
definitely it obviously was the catalyst to push me forward so fast. And even on that, there's a theory, I'm not sure if you heard of the cat and mouse theory, basically. I don't know what is actually the name of it, but it's the concept that there's like a rat in a cage, and the force it pulls towards cheese is measured. Then there's a cat put behind the mouse, and then the force is actually 10x. He runs towards the cheese and he's running away from the mouse. So the concept is like, having that kind of negative almost motivator as well as the positive can be beneficial sometimes if it's not used, like if it's not kind of overpowering your mind and taking you over. So a little bit of that is good, as long as it's not like really controlling your life and making you unfulfilled and unhappy in a sense as well.
I think Dargan says it in a different way. He's like, if there's a gun to your head, you'll do it. And that's like the cat behind the mouse, and it does 10x the force behind you. But that's that jealousy kind of fear-based mindset of, I need to do it or I'm useless, is like a double-edged sword. Sometimes I'll be like, not feeling so great about it. Other times it's like, fuck me, I'm glad like I have that in my subconscious arsenal, because it is a powerful tool.
And do you still kind of lean into that now in terms of growing coaching, or is that something you used in the initial stages that you kind of worked through and got past? Or how do you kind of balance now, because obviously you're kind of a lot more self-aware of it and stuff like that? Do you still kind of lean into it a lot? Or?
It works one of two ways. It works how it did in January and February this year, and I am so productive. I am so productive. And then March to kind of like end of June, just like I do the bare minimum. Like January to February I was up at like, I'm not one of the 6 a.m, 7 a.m risers. Like if I'm up at 8 a.m, 9 a.m, I'm like over the moon. And I get out for my walk, I do my check-ins, do my client replies, and then I record content, and then I like do my my consultancy team. I do everything they ask. me to do to progress the business. But then there's March to February where it's like everything's lastminute.com. You know, I get up at 12 and I sit down and watch YouTube for 4 hours, and I'm like, fuck, I need to reply to my clients. Or sorry, I have to reply to my clients. Trying to use all the language I did, and then there's no content, I'll repost. So it's one of the two. There's the like go because the cat's behind you, or there's the, you know, the cat's not here, so what's the point of the cat's not here, like you're safe, you're sound, you can just like float and you're fine. So I'm like, you know, Instagram's full of people who are just like super driven, super motivated, they get after it every day. I'm only like that maybe 40-30% of the time, and when I am, it's like there's that ADHD phrase of like, it can take me 5 days to get 1 hour's work done, or I can do a week's work in 3 hours. Fuck me, when I tell you the amount of work I got done there on Wednesday of last week, holy shit. I was behind work all that week, and I got caught up on this week's on Thursday in 5 hours.
That's
insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
I wish I had control over it.
Yeah.
You know,
I would say even going from like that phase that you mentioned there of kind of like just kind of flowing and not being uber productive to going back into that zone, as you said, Wednesday, like being super productive again. Is there like any like clear transitions between your mindset from like that phase of like
people on Marbella, just being around, like I was sitting down in the apartment with Sean, Evan, Sean Casey, Evan Daly, Dave Fell, and there was one other person. And Dave asked Sean like a hilarious question. We were like, "Geez, Dave, that's a bit wild." And Sean like went through, and he was like, "No, I don't mind." And he went through, and like hearing what the answer to the question was, I don't want to say the question, I don't want to say the answer. It was
I'm so curious now. I'm so intrigued.
It was a question about business. Let's just put it like that. And hearing Sean's answers, I was like, "Fuck!" But it was like there's this thing in recovery that's, it's the like as soon as you take it, when you take the drink in a relapse, that's not the start. That's the end. It's all your thinking and like subconscious things that happen up until like you take the drink or take the drug, whatever. So that was like maybe halfway through the second week in Marbella, maybe at the start. So it was that like week in Marbella, being around like highly motivated people, but also just talking to them about not their struggles, but just like life, or just like talking about football, talking about rugby, like shooting the shit, like making fun of them, playing padel, all those things, and just being like, oh, like it's, I don't know, I couldn't tell you what it was. It was like this, like just it was just a break, you know, it was just a break, but like you kind of flowed in bits about working ideas, and people were like, that's good, maybe try to change this. And then we had that conversation. Then I had another conversation with Sean on Sunday night, where I was like in tears talking to him, and like, right after he's like, as soon as you come back from holidays, we'll do this thing, which we still haven't started. So we need to text him after this, and we haven't started, but I've been like working towards that. So what's changed? Tangible, not tangible goals, but like
more bite-sized goals, like smaller.
No, it's more like a tangible feeling after the goal. I work towards feelings.
Yes.
Like, do you know when you do the thing when you don't want to do it? It's like crack, man.
Yeah. Insane.
Tangible goals, promises, like if you do this, I'll do this. People that believe in you, because there was like 6 months, 4 months where I didn't believe in myself, and like really objective criticism from people who you're subjectively friends with. Like when you get a friend that talks to you in a way you'd never expect them to talk to you, as if like if you paid a random person for feedback, you know they're objectively going to give you advice because they don't know you, they don't care about your feelings. When you have a friend talk to you in a way that they don't care if they hurt your feelings, they think it's best for you, it is one of the most valuable things you can get in life. 100%. It's nuts.
I have a friend like that from Australia, Renee, and she'll always just say it to my face as it is. Like, and she's like, there's people in your life who will say this stuff behind your back. I'm saying it to your face. So if I ever got upset or anything, that's what she come back with. And I was like, no, you know what? I actually respect that so much. I would way rather be told it to my face than like anyone say shit behind my back. So I absolutely love that. And obviously you mentioned then the importance of kind of like who you surround yourself with in a sense, and how Marbella like surround yourself with people who you kind of relate to on like a deeper level in terms of work and in terms of life, and just people you really connected with helped you push you forward. Have there been any points in your life where that had like the opposite effect, who you're surrounded with kind of dragged you like down or brought you kind of lower?
Funny enough, with the same people, like when I was first going viral, like and like Sean would have said this at the time, like the only person he would have taken like content advice from at the time, or like had an input, would have been me, Evan as well, and maybe one other person who I can't remember right now, and like all like when people don't keep you humble, when it's like when people don't keep you humble, like I was like, oh yeah, like fucking Sean Casey's like listen to my advice, of course I know my shit, and then when you feel like you know your shit, you take the foot off, and I took the foot off. I started like reposting and like pushing business, which isn't a bad thing, but like obviously in the online world you have to do both all the time. It's go go go.
Stay ahead of the game.
Stay ahead of the game, and like funny enough, staying ahead of the game is now just like is keeping up. The thing. It really is. It's keeping up. It's not like you're not ahead of the curve anymore. You just gotta like you gotta be ruthless with your launches and products. You gotta be ruthless with your content. Like I don't know how I used to make 35 pieces of content before. I like can't like it takes me 3 days to come up with 2 pieces now. Like it's wild.
I think it's even different in that sense, because what used to work, like now you have to add so much things to it, like layers. You have to kind of get outside the box, get more creative, because like that old stuff, it's like consumer versus creator kind of ratio is not like there's so many creators and like not enough consumers, so you really just need to kind of put the effort into the business you are making in a sense too. Yeah, like volume, like especially with content, volume doesn't work anymore. It's quantity, it's quality now. Yeah. Like you need quality pieces of content that stand out. Of course, like you can like people like Joe Rogan and like even this, like you get an AI to cut up this into an hour-long podcast. You could get it cut up into hundreds of there's how many seconds are there in an hour? Oh man, you get hundreds of pieces of content. Yeah, fully. There's 600 seconds. There's 600 seconds in 10 minutes. That's divide that by 10. Divide that by 30. Because there's 30-second reels. That's 200. That's 20 reels. So multiply that by 10. Multiply that by 6. You have 120 reels. And that's quantity. One of those will do well. Yeah. The boys like Joe Rogan, they have that massive following. That's they've for years. So like quality is so important. Now quantity still works, but it is just keeping up the game. So that was like when it worked negatively was when I thought I was at the top or close to. I was sitting at the table with Lancelot, King Arthur and them. Yeah. I was like, all right, I'm here now. I've done the hard work. And it goes back to a phrase, and I said it to my clients for years. It's like Steve Jobs didn't stop working when he made Apple. Steve Jobs kept working. It's very easy to get complacent sometimes. I made the company and I stopped working. So, and now I'm working again. So which is like exciting, but it's also like fuck, I wish I just kept working. Yeah. Literally, it's one thing my dad always says. He says like every day's a school day, which is such a good one. It's like no matter how much you think you're ahead of everything, there's always something to learn from someone. Like you're never gonna know it all, which is good in that sense as well. And stripping back, I know you mentioned like recovery a few times. Getting back into that, I know we talked about that a little bit in Marbella, so I know the story myself. But like stripping back into, would say before even coaching came along, and what that journey was like for you, even just coming out of school. Kind of starting with like drinks, starting with like meeting new people, doing college courses, like that kind of early stage of life for you, and what that was like. So, I started drinking in 4th year, but that's not when my first addictions started. Okay. So and I only realized them as soon as I got into treatment. Like if I strip it back, I would like play like small things like FIFA Ultimate Team, and I would spend extortionate amount of money on my dad's credit card to get the best players, to get the best team, open the most amount of packs, which cost real life money. I would, like if I wanted a new game, I had to have it, so I'd steal money to go and get it. And then, like going into school, like food was such a big thing, and it was mainly because at the time I didn't realize that I didn't know how to deal with certain emotions. So when those emotions would come up, didn't like it, and you do something that stimulates another, like whether physical, mental, emotional, spiritual feeling, to distract from that.
That's why alcoholics are alcoholics. They're not happy people, so they drink to either, people think like drink makes you happy. It makes most alcoholics like worse, but they're numb to that feeling, right? So I started drinking in fourth year. I mean, like, I should have really known my first time drinking. Like 2 naggins was a lot for someone who knows. Like 2 naggins is a lot.
That's a wild.
Yeah, wild. I remember like the girl I fancied at the time going up to me like, why do you fancy my best friend and not me? And then like tried to play it off the next day like nothing happened like that. Then going into like 4th, 5th year, 6th year, I was just like didn't really give a fuck about leaving cert. So I'd like miss school, go buy weed, smoke at my mate's house, come back, be off my gowl, high in school. And then I drink a good bit, and then college came around, and I just kind of like, at that point I never wanted to do like hard drugs. I just wanted to smoke weed. At that point, like I remember taking my first pill and being like, all right, sound. And then like, for a guy who never felt confident, ever felt confident, didn't really like himself. Actually, I hated myself for like a good solid 10 years. I remember that like just 30 seconds where I'm coming up on that pill, and it was like, I loved life. I was like, this is a part of the life in life. This is a part of the world we live in, and it's an option. And I haven't been doing it. What the fuck? What have I been missing? And it just spiraled from there. But I thought I was having fun. And don't tell me, there's loads of times I was fun, like, but you know, when there's like the fucking, when it gets to the point where like you've spent 66% of somebody's will because they gifted you before they died, because they were losing their memory and they wanted to see you spend it. And then there's like the man at the end of your bed standing over there with the smile. I told you about the smile. He had like the Joker smile, except it wasn't stitches. It was just going up here, and he had a big long nose. He had a fedora, and all I could see was his nose. And it was fucking. At that point, I was doing like drugs that didn't even have names. They just had numbers, like AM220 and 2CB and all this crazy bullshit. It was the weekend of. I skipped a whole part. At this point, I had like done first year college, and like in arts, you can do psychology, and if you finish in the top 100, if you finish in the top 150, you get psychological studies, which is a gateway into psychology. If you finish in the top 50, you can go straight in from an arts stream to a science stream and study psychology. And I finished in the top 50, and like my answer was, and that's at the time it was like a 555 point course in NUIG, and I did arts at 300. At the time I was offered, and I was like, what are the hours like? Oh yeah, like you're in arts, you're doing 25 hours, and now you're doing, what was it, like 40? And I was like, that's a fucking full-time week job, like fuck that. So I went in Spanish and social and political studies, bombed out a second year, repeated, and stopped going after week 5. And then the night, Rag Week, it's 2024 now, Rag Week 2018, 13th of February. I remember it, I was like super anxious, texting a girl I really liked at the time, who we're good friends with today, and she was like texting her like just the most, like, it was an hour of text. She wasn't awake, and I was just texting her for an hour, just like anxiety, and then like text her me like, well, when I woke up, he was standing at the end of my bed, and I couldn't move. It was like sleep paralysis, and it was the only night ever. Fuck me, it was so scary. He always looked at me and he smiled, this random figure. And the last night I ever saw him, he showed his teeth in the smile. He just went like, and I had goosebumps. I think it was so scary. Went and told my folks the next day. I was like, guys, I think I have a problem. It was my dad's birthday. I was like, no, Dad's birthday, and I was like, I need to talk to you. Like, maybe you talk to us tomorrow, you look rough. And I was like, yeah. 15th of February, because my dad's birthday is Valentine's Day, and I was like, guys, I think I've brought him cocaine, like, and Dad, I'll never forget Dad. He's like, fuck, Pat, I thought you just smoked a little bit of weed. And I was like, Dad, man, like, it's rough out here.
That's so brave though, even to have like the self-awareness to be like, okay, something needs to change, and actually even just go and like speak to them about that, even, and that's insane.
I was just sick. like, I was really at rock bottom. I hit rock bottom 3 times from that day to May 4th was when I came out of treatment. I hit rock bottom 3 times. One was that night. The next one was the day I went into treatment. The day I went into treatment was like, you know, I say February 13th was the day my life changed. It wasn't the last time I did drugs though. You know, I definitely, like, I went out then on March 30th, 31st, because I'm clean and sober 6 years on the 1st of April. And the guy, like, rock bottom was when I came into treatment. They were like, so the last time you did drugs in February? I'm like, yeah. And I was just like, why am I lying? I'm in here, like. So I walked in the front door with my stuff and I was like, you're actually here. Because I feel like for a lot of people, like, you hear about treatment and you hear about rehab, like, oh, Johnny Depp's gone to rehab, or this person's gone to rehab, and it's like, oh, poor people. But you don't actually, like, it's just like, oh, that's shit. It's kind of like, I'm not going to get political, but Palestine. Like, we hear about it going on in the news and you see it in video, but imagine being there. I walked in and I was like, and I'm absolutely not comparing rehab to Palestine, but I'm like, I walked in and I was like, holy shit, you're actually here. And like, what the fuck are you going to do? You know? And I walked in and I turned the corner and I saw the people in there and I was like, dude, like, you're not meant to be here, but you're meant, like, you should have never been here, and you're not meant to be here, but you're meant to be here. And it was the best 30 days of my life. It was the best 30 days of my life. It was unbelievable. No phone for 30 days, like, a blessing. Imagine not having to use your phone, laptop, or listen to the outside for 30 days. That is a blessing.
Next level.
Oh, unbelievable. Some of the best, like, it was 30 tough days where, like, you write down your character defects. Like, the way I describe it is there's a mirror. When your family calls you out for bullshit, and like, you know they're right, or a partner, or a friend, and they're like, you're doing this because of X, Y, Z, and like, you're so shocked at what they said because you know they're bang on, you never thought they'd say it, and you're like, fuck you, and you walk away. Rehab is they call you out and you have to talk to them afterwards. I remember sitting in a chair like this. My mum and dad came in and they sat there for an hour and they basically told me every horrible thing I've done over the last like 20 years, and I was like gripping the chair. Carol, my counsellor, she was from Scotland, and she's like, Patrick, I thought you were going to break off your nails, man. And it was unreal to listen to because you get such insight on yourself. And then you write down, have you ever heard of step 4 and step 5 in AA?
No.
Best, I wish everyone could do step 4. Step 4 is where you write down every nasty thing you've done, the stuff you don't tell people. Because,
that's so good.
Because they tell you, you write it down on paper and you're going to burn it afterwards. And you do that. What they don't tell you is step 5 in between is before you say it to someone, before you burn it, you have to say everything on the piece of paper to someone. I was shocked. I wrote down things there that, like, I remember saying it was sometimes it was the first time I've ever said stuff to people. I remember being like 20, whatever, I turned 22 in treatment, spent my 21st birthday in treatment, fucking hell. And I remember, like, and I was like, fuck, am I going to say this to Carol? Am I going to say this to Carol? And I said it. And she was like, why did you have such shame around that? And I was like, I don't know. And
who was it you said it to?
Carol, my counsellor. And I burned it. And then I remember going, because it was I used to lie so much that I'd forget when I was telling the truth. And I remember telling all the boys who knew this lie. I remember I was like, the thing was, it was like, I was a virgin up until I was 22. And I remember saying that to Karen, I broke into tears. And she's like, why do you have so much fear about that? And I was like, because I'm so ashamed that I'm just not confident enough to talk to people. And I've never done this and that or anything. And I remember telling the lads, and they laughed at me, and I was like, why are you laughing at me? And they're like, Paddy, like, we don't care, bro. And it was at that point, and something said to me in treatment, and you actually put up a thing on Instagram about this the other day. You can't do other people's thinking for them. I was always like afraid to go up to the gym, afraid to do this because I thought everyone was doing it. And Carol said to me, she's like, Patrick, you're a lovely boy, you're very intelligent, and you're going to be super successful, but nobody cares about you as much as you care yourself. You're a self-obsessed man. And And I was like, even saying that in her voice right now like gives me this relief, because it's true.
So nice.
Nobody cares about you,
the concept
bro.
of the spotlight effect. Like everyone's walking around and be like, oh, my hair looks rotten today, my outfit looks rotten today.
No.
But everyone's thinking that about themselves, not about each other. Like everyone's so absorbed in their own lives, like looking at themselves, that they don't have any time to pay attention.
It's wild. Like it's that thing is like, something I say to my clients that helps them get in the gym is like, the way you think, it's a bit of a tongue twister, the way you think people are thinking about you, how often do you think about people in the same manner? And they're like, yeah, never. And I'm like, no offense, you're not that special. Go in there and be special to yourself. And they're like, fuck. I had one lady cry when she started saying it, and she's been left my service now a couple of years, but she's changed her life from that one thing, 100%.
So wild. It's so wild the impact you can have on people with just such small like nuggets of advice and stuff like that that can just really flip their mindset completely.
Sentences can change lives. Sentences can. That sentence, like, you're a self-obsessed man. I thought everyone was talking about me in school. I thought everyone was talking about me behind my back. I thought all my friends hated me. I thought all my friends hated me. So like, I said it to Sean there at the thing. I was like, I thought you hated me for 2 months. And he's like, bro, we're best mates. I'm like, I know we're best mates, but I thought you hated me. Like, and like, just nobody cares that much. If people care, you'll know. If people care, you'll know. Like, how do I know people don't like me now? Is because I get like, a thousand comments on my post on me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, from someone in Iowa.
100%.
Yeah, but it's like,
and even the perspective shift that like even anyone does care. Like, I think no one that's doing better than your life will ever pass any remarks to what you're doing anyways. Like, so even if people are judging you, it's usually people who are unhappy within themselves and they're trying to judge you to kind of fill a void within themselves as well. It's kind of, I think that was very freeing for me, especially when it came to starting posting content. It was like, who gives a fuck, because anyone that's judged me for this is just like somebody who probably secretly wants to do it themselves, or just like isn't happy with their own job and like isn't trying. Like, I'd seen something on Instagram the other day that was like, we knock people for trying. Like, why do we knock people for trying?
It's a super Irish thing. It's Irish. My friend Carl put this in a sentence. I don't know. It's a super Irish thing with like, as soon as people start doing something different, and Irish people, like, I know we're just saying nobody cares, but Irish people, they don't care, but they do talk.
Yes.
They talk about it. I remember when I first started posting content, and people are like, oh, like, go for it, like, do it, and then they're like, what's he doing? Like, I had someone not too long ago message me after I blew up. Someone who had been like, man, I love what you're doing. So message me and be like, here, what website do I buy followers from? And I'm like, are you messing, bro? It's super Irish thing. Like, my friend Carl compared it. He's a bodybuilder, and he's like, the Irish bodybuilding scene is so toxic. It is so, everybody's talking about everybody. Everybody doesn't want the other person to do better than the British one. It's different. It's different. They're like I know they're my friends, but I know a couple of bodybuilders in Manchester, and they have like this really solid group of people they hang out with every day, all bodybuilders, all pushing each other forwards, and it's just not like that here. I found that with a lot of particularly people involved in and around social circles, myself, business-wise people, like, they're like, go for it, do it, try the thing, but like, there's that small town mentality of like, do you hear what your mom's doing?
100%. It's such a crazy concept to anyone, because like when you grow up in that, it's just, that's all you know, it's just normal to you. But then when you get outside that, you're like, fuck, like, what the hell? It's so not
negative,
normal.
like,
it's crazy.
It's so
like, what would the neighbour think of that? Like, oh jeez, don't be wearing that inside today. Like, it's bizarre. Like, you get one life, you get about 90 years if you're lucky. Fucking wear what you want outside. Like. Yeah,
it's nuts. And like, obviously, before we're saying, oh, nobody cares, and those Irish people, like, they don't actually care because they're more concerned with their own lives, but like, they still have that, like, they're very opinionated, and and they will like pass remarks with no like malice, but when they mean no, because and I'm not gonna say I've done it, like, I've passed remarks to people like, whoa, did you see that person's post? It's a bit wild, but like, it's not like the person's bad, I don't want them to keep doing it, it's like, but it's always that person can pick it up with that, when it goes back to the start of this thing, is like, perception really is everything at the end of the day. It's I read this quote in my AA book, my meditations book in treatment, and as an Oprah Winfrey quote, and I love it so much. It's the man who always wants more. It's a gratitude post, but I love the way perspective is. The same man can be two different things. He can be the man who always wants more and he'll never have enough, or he can be the man who's happy with what he has and he always has room for more, which is just it's a brilliant post about gratitude, and it's a brilliant quote about perception as well.
I love that. And even just like right before I came here, I think I seen this post. It was like 2 cups of water, and there's one going from the bottom. They're about both 3/4 full, and one was like the 1/4 missing. Oh shit, I didn't do enough today. And the other one was like, oh my god, look how much I got done today. They both were 3/4 full, but it's how they viewed the day. One was like, I got 3/4 of my work done. One was like, fuck, I missed the 1/4. And then like carrying on to the next day, that momentum will build either negatively or positively.
Absolutely.
Bringing into the next week, the rest
Absolutely.
of the week.
It's like when that one thing with the glass of water. I have many days where it's like, fuck, I missed the quarter. And like the difference is you can, and I always ask myself, how do I want my day to look come 8 p.m? Do I want to come 6 p.m, 7 p.m, 8 p.m? Do I want to switch off and like enjoy being present playing video games with my mates, which I do often, or do I want to switch off but not really switch off and sit right there playing video games, and it's not, I'm enjoying the video game and using it to distract for that 1% I did, that 25% I didn't do. And it's when you're able to have those self-conscious, self-aware conversations with yourself, you really can like control your actions, control your thoughts, and control your behaviors.
Definitely. And one thing you said there that like really stuck with me from, I don't know what part of the conversation it was in, but basically like only getting affected by something that actually triggers you inside. So say for an example, this was a massive perspective shift in my life. So it's like, if I go to you, Paddy, you have green hair, like you're gonna brush off and you're gonna like shut the fuck up. No, I don't. But if I'm like Paddy and then I say something you're actually really insecure about, you're gonna be like, shut the fuck up. Like, no, I don't. You're gonna get really defensive and go back. So it goes back to like you only actually get affected or react to things that within yourself that you're not actually confident or secure within.
Facts. So
it's like your triggers are not actually negative. They're actually, triggers are used to show you what you need to work on within yourself to become more secure, to not get triggered by that thing again. Yeah. It was something from your previous conversation that you said that just really stuck, and it's so good.
It was, what did I say? It was talking about treatment and how you're forced to sit with that thing. Daniel Dargan said it to me in thing, and it's been such a good thing he said. He was like, can I ask a question, bro? And I'm like, are you genuinely happy with your physique? And I was like, do you know, I'm not genuinely happy with it, like, but like I've been in a worse spot. That's not the question I asked you. Are you genuinely happy? And I like said no, but, and then he's like, bro, are you happy with your physique? Because I don't think you are, and I think you'd be better. And I was like, you're right. Ever since then, I've been locked in. Do you know? And it's like, if you can put aside, like, lean into the insecurity and lean into the self-consciousness, but if you can put aside and it is completely subjective. It's like, that is not a rude comment. I don't think in modern day it's a rude comment to make. It's what makes it a rude comment is how a person reacts to it. Okay? Again, perception. 100%. And like, I'd be like, how dare you fucking ask me a question, it's none of your business. And technically it isn't, but it's also, if you can put aside ego and pride and you know, you feeling like someone's wronged you, what it is a friend looking out for a friend at the end of the day. Definitely. And if you can put aside your ego, and you can put aside your pride, you can put aside that part of you that's hurt, that someone's noticed an insecurity of yours, you can change your life, man. You really can change your life. Definitely. It's insane.
And it sounds back to what you said, like they're the kind of people you want to be surrounded with, those kind of people who call you out when you're shit, and they can pick something, not to pick you and put you down, but to actually pick you and pick you up and level you up and help you improve to be the person that you actually want to be, in a sense.
Absolutely. There's those people that level you out and pick you up. You also, like, I have found I have to keep them humble, not in what they do, but how they talk to me. I, like, when I'm doing well now, I want people to say it, but I want people to remind me why I'm doing well, and like let's just not that as like, you're doing well, you're doing so well, man, you're doing X well, you're doing Y well, you're doing D well, and I don't want you to stop that because we've seen what you're like with ABC, right? I know I have a couple of friends, and they are great friends, very successful people, but they are yes men to each other. All day, every day, or all day, every day, and like, they're great people. I love them to bits, and I personally don't think a yes man is a long-term solution. You know, it can definitely work in short term, 100%, but it does warp your perspective on things. And just like when I go back to like how Sean was like, mate, like there's 5 people who understand content: you, me, Evan, and the other one at the time was Troy something. And he's like, we get it, you know, we get it. We know how to do the hooks, we know how to hold the attention, we know how to give the answer. Bang, 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 done. Big businesses, big people listen to us. And I'm like, yeah, 100%. Like, and John wasn't being a yes man, he was just reinforcing what at the time was true. But when that's the key thing. At the time it was true. You know, it's different now. And like keeping that part of yes man out of it is so crucial to just not falling behind.
Like not settling in that.
Yeah, no, on a massive tangent there.
Yeah, it's such a valuable one too though. It's just like not getting complacent with that. Like obviously that was true at the time, but if you had just sat in that, you'd probably be still in that situation now and everyone else would be miles ahead of you because you had kind of grown with the crowd almost in a sense as well.
Big facts.
And circling back to what we talked about there with that kind of transformational period in your life, obviously going through rehab and stuff, what would you say are the 3 biggest insights or like changing mindsets you had throughout that period and coming out the other side of it? Because I know it was such a big like kind of turning point and pivotal point in your life.
The day is a very powerful tool. There's a phrase in NA and AA called just for today that like I look at my life, I'm 28, looking probably what's the average lifespan now, is it 86, 87?
Probably ballpark.
Right, let's say 6 years, I live for the next 6 years. Staying sober for 6 years terrifies me. Staying sober for 6 years terrifies me. It's 3:30. I'm probably going to go to bed at 1:30 tonight. I'm pretty confident I can stay sober for the next 11 hours. Right, I'm pretty confident. I have 5 check-ins to do, I have 1 piece of content to edit. Do you know? And people are like, that's not a lot of work, you can get ahead of it. I'm just looking at today. I only look at today. It saved my life, it keeps me sober, it helps me get to the gym. I have to go to the gym today actually as well. It helps me get my meals in, it helps me do everything. If I start looking at what I need to do for the rest of the week, which is why when I get given like I've just got given a 14-week marketing campaign by my consultancy team, I'm already like anxious and I'm like fuck, and I'm gonna text them, I'm like, can you just like scrap this and just tell me what needs to be made for today and I will get it done.
I love that for so many reasons, because even at the start of my journey, like why I almost didn't even start social media coaching, because I would always just look at like the bigger picture and I want to be like this person who has like 1 million followers, and that would just like freeze me from even beginning, because I was constantly looking at like all this work it was going to take to be there, instead of just looking at, okay, I'm going to post a video today, and then tomorrow I'm going to post another video, and the next day, just looking at it day by day. So that's so powerful with everything, obviously with being sober and stuff like that too, but that's so applicable to every single area of life. Go to the gym, like get exercise in, absolutely everything, just do it for today, and then do it again tomorrow. I tell my clients,
my clients sign with me for 6 months to a year, which is completely opposite what I say. And they're like, what if I like don't lose any weight in 6 months? I'm like, if you do you think you can do 10,000 steps today? They're like, just today? I'm like, I will not ask you to do anything for the next 6 months. Just today? I'm like, yeah. Do you think you can get your food in today? They're like, yeah. I'm like, sweet, awesome. Did you get your training in today? Do you have training prescribed? Yeah, sweet. Do you think you can go to bed before 12 p.m. today or before 1 a.m.? Like, yeah. I'm like, amazing. Can you do those 4 things today? They're like, yeah, but what about the next 6 months? I'm like, just do those today. Talk to me tomorrow. They come to me tomorrow and they're like, that wasn't that hard. And I was like, that's because you just what you did was you removed the what if I fail, what if I don't get to as far as I want to get to, what if I only achieve 70%, what if I do this, what if I do that. When the fact is, even if someone would only choose 50% of their ultimate goal, if you could get it like that and just like click a button, you got it, everyone would take it. Everyone would take it. And if you just do the work that you need to do just for today, you'll get 50% is a minimum baseline. It's
so simple, but yet so powerful and underrated. Just that concept of just thinking about the day, and I love that.
The second one would probably be second one is call yourself out to yourself. Call yourself out to another person. I had a conversation with someone recently, and I was saying things and they were like, oh, I'm sorry, I feel bad for you. And I was like, stop, don't feel bad for me. That's me trying to emotionally manipulate you to potentially get something out of you in the future. And they were like, what the fuck? And I'm like, trust me, like, I remember with these stuff going in my history, and they're like, oh yeah, okay. Do you want me to like call you out in that in the future? I'm like, absolutely, if you see it happening. I called myself out to you and I was like, I'm like a recovering addict, but I spent 800 quid on cards. Do you know, for the rush of like, I opened the pack, what's inside? It's gambling. What else have I done? I called myself out to, you gotta call yourself out to other people to keep yourself humble. People will be like, don't put yourself down. I'm like, I'm not. Like, you know, I'll say to a lot of people, like, I'm more capable than a lot of people I know. I'm also way more lazy. Do you know? It's important to keep yourself humble, particularly as people like us, young, you know, people 20 to 30 who have it, you know, for people who are 20, and Instagram's filled with like loads of 20 to 30 year olds who are like really successful business owners, this, that, but there's way more that you don't see, do you know? There's this, so like, keep yourself humble, call yourself out, beware of your character defects, they're all mucked into one. And the third one is, I'm going to say go to the gym, but it's not go to the gym. When I came out of treatment, I had nothing. I had no job. When I came out of treatment, I had two types of texts. One was happy birthday, the other one was, are you looking?
Are you looking?
Are you looking? Yeah. 4 texts. I had hundreds of friends. I had 4 texts. 2 are from drug dealers, 2 are from people I didn't like. Do you know?
It's crazy. And it's crazy, even that concept of like getting caught up in that, like thinking, oh my god, I have so many friends, I'm going out with this person, going out with this person tonight and stuff like that. At the end of the day, like, who's actually going to be there for you during hard times? So
I had nothing, I had no one. I couldn't live at home for recovery reasons. I moved in with my brother. I then got a job in a cafe around the corner. I was there for 3 months, got promoted, and I was like, that feeling feels good. So I started working really hard, going to the gym every day for 6 months after work, training, doing a like 2 kilometer run on the treadmill at like 130 kilos. It was crazy. I trained out there, just because I love the feeling. The thing was, I needed something to do, right? I needed something to do. You always need something to do, because when you don't have anything to do, and particularly when you don't want to do anything, that's when, like, as I said, the past couple of months I've been waking up at 12 and watching TV for 4 hours to 4 p.m. and then I have a full day's work I need to do. I'm still not getting up at like 8, 7 a.m. This morning I actually got up at 11 and I had to run down to the bank to get money for my cleaner, but I then came home and did the work. I had stuff I needed to do. You need some sort of project, whether it's personal, whether it's personal, whether it's career, and it can never be finished. You will always fail at this project. You will always fail. Who was it? Who's that actor in Interstellar? It's, oh my god, what's his name? He's from Texas. He's in Interstellar. He's in Traffic Thunder. He's in.
I'm not an actor person. Okay. I don't know anyone.
Matthew McConaughey. That's his name.
Yes.
Matthew McConaughey said, he's like, I want to be me in 10 years. And then he got there and he's like, whoa, like, but me in 10 years time is so much better. And yeah, and he actually, funnily enough, said, and he's like, funnily enough, if you tie that in with, and they're like, how'd you do it? And he's like, I just needed to do what I did today. And I got there, and then when I got there, I wasn't like thing, and he's like, I knew I was never going to get to the guy, that man I wanted to be, but I was 10 times the man I would have been if I didn't reach for the stars. Reach for a bigger goal.
It's like just the infinite game, like in business and everything. That's it. Like if you have even that's like something I had to overcome when I had this goal. I was like, I just want to get 10,000 followers and make 2-3k a month. Like fuck all time ago. And when I got that, it was like, fuck now what? But then you have to just create an endless game. Like even with this podcast, I started this podcast. There's no end to it. There's no like X amount of episodes. There's no X amount of anything. It's just like I do this because I enjoy doing this. I'm enjoying the journey of it. And it's just gonna keep going on forever.
It. The goal is actually so unfulfilling. It's the journey that's the fulfilling part.
Completely agree.
I know so many people who were racing for 1 million followers and then they got it and they just felt. And James Smith did a fantastic podcast on it. He's like, I felt empty. I felt like I had wasted so much time going for it and like chasing it, and it's something I always wanted, and then I got there, I just didn't care, and I was like, and I was like, that's because you had it, you know. Before then you never had it and you wanted it, and now it's just like something you have. I don't care. I got this painting delivered to me 3 days ago of my 2 dogs. And I put up then. I couldn't wait for her. Now this here, I love my dogs, but I couldn't be fucked putting it up on the wall. You know, I couldn't be fucked. It's there, and I have it now. And thank you, Jordan, if you're watching this. You're a legend, Jordan Breenart. But it's just that type of thing that's like, as soon as you get the thing, you don't care. How many people you know are actually truly grateful for a roof over their head? They don't. They're not, because they've had it their whole lives. I have friends who are still out in the streets. You know, I don't even know where they are, but I know they're on the streets, and they're just like done.
That's like the key to happiness. I have it tattooed on my arm, gratitude right there.
Yeah.
I think I really thoroughly believe that just simply being grateful for everything you have while you have it is the key to happiness in life.
That's it.
Because it even stems back from like Bill and Bally and those people with like, people would say like nothing like in terms of monetary and material wise, but they have everything because like they're so fulfilled and they're so grateful for the nothing that they have. They're so happy, and community probably links into it a bit as well.
Yeah.
But it's like, I always wonder if you could measure happiness in a bottle, like they're like full, and like even people in Ireland sometimes you just think they're just so low because they're just again, they're like driving to work in their car that's brand new and they're just like not grateful at all. They're like, oh fuck, I have to go to work today, have to be in the keyword there, I get to go to work today, I get to go to the gym today. Like it's all about again perspective on things.
Yeah, I often have a chat with Dad because I'm so fascinated, because we were quite young when it was going on, the Celtic Tiger. We were quite young. You're 22? 23. So you were probably even younger than me. 24. So you're probably younger than me. Yeah. So I'm 28, and I remember the Tiger relatively well. And I remember talking to Dad about it, and I was like, surely everyone was just over the moon. I was like, Paddy, everyone was assholes. It's like everyone wanted more. It's what fucked the country, and nobody was happy with what they had. And I was like, but now you take all of it. And he's like, absolutely. He was like, if that happened now, I'd be the happiest man in the world. So I was like, Dad, no, you wouldn't. Like, you'd be like, what if I made that deal, or what if I made that decision? And that's like, we're going to launch products in the future, right? We're going to launch things, and it's going to be, I know it for a fact. I have one coming up, and if I get my goal target, but my journey and my processes haven't been 100%. I'm like, what if I change that one sentence that I read, what would have been the end result? Whereas if I reach 50% of my target, I'm like, for fuck's sake, I'm such a failure because I didn't do it. You know? Even
though like probably a year or two ago, 50% of your target was like 100 and like 90% of like, it's like just keeps going up and up, and it's just always like the concept, it'll just keep expanding. Like again, what I said, it's like a year ago, if you told me I'd be making 2 to 3 K a month from coaching, I would have been the happiest girl in the world. But now it's like consistently, obviously, it just expands. Your goal gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But the key is just not attaching your worth and happiness to that goal. It's okay to have goals, but just like you are what you are, you're grateful for what you have. My worth's not attached to this goal. If I get it, I'm going to enjoy the journey of the way there. If I get it, great. If I don't reach it, but I'm still going to be happy. So what I do get in a sense.
That's it. And it comes to a phrase of like, if you're measuring your life and where you are currently in a series of goals, you are never going to be fulfilled. The only way you're going to be, it's like, you see those videos of people in Bali, and they're like probably, they're probably on like, I don't know where they would sit on like a wealth scale, but they don't have a lot of money, but they are just so happy. When I'm in Marbella, I am so happy. I'm like, I get very intimidated with around people with lots of money who are more successful than me. Like when I first met Ben Hawksworth, I couldn't speak to him, because he's just this big Ben Hawksworth. Now I pay him money to help the business, but these people are just so, like when I'm in Marbella, I'm like, I never have the sun at home. I don't have this heat. I wake up earlier. I get more done in the day. Even if I do nothing, I just have more time. And this is stuff that, like, you're in that moment, you're like, this is amazing. Like, this is, and that's the language I have when I'm there. I'm like, this is amazing. The beach is so far. This house is awesome. When I'm here, I'm like, right, gotta work. Have to go to work. Want to go to work, but have to go to work. Have to use my time effectively and efficiently. Whereas when you're abroad, I actually, like, I'll do less work, but I will get more done.
I actually found that as well, honestly, with me in the sun and just been in Marbella as well. I did find the environment was so good for being productive. But I think it even sends back to the happy kind of things about being present, what you were saying there about Marbella and just like the beach and working, and you were like sounding like you're just really present and in the moment, not thinking about shit, I have to do this later and this what happened yesterday, but you're like just living in the moment of things too.
Yeah, and
which is so powerful.
You just like me and Eva had a great conversation after that night out, and those little moments that like are like just being actually 100% physically present in a conversation and not thinking about where you need to be. Like, there's a couple of times during this conversation, like most of this conversation I've been present with, but I'm like, as I said, I was like, I gotta go to the gym, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. So I'm like, okay, I gotta do those things. But it's like when you're present and you're in an environment where other people are present, other people are grateful, you are a better person. 100%. And like some of my best mates, my best mate is one of the most pessimistic, negative people I've ever known in my life, and he will laugh at me when he sees me. He's gonna call me an asshole, but he's like, I can be. So can you, man? But I can be. I'll be like, yeah, but there's being present in the moment with pessimistic people, and they can make you laugh. And he's like not the most pessimistic person, but he can be so grumpy, man. But he makes me laugh, and it's like, it's again that perspective. It's again your environment. It's again like taking what you can from certain situations. I've been in horrible situations in my life, but I've taken great things from them. Whether it's a friendship, a sentence, a walking away experience of holy shit, I'm going to do whatever I can never to be in that situation again in my life. Do you know, it's mad. It's mad.
Definitely. And then even linking on what we said before, what do you define success as in your life right now? What does success mean to you at this current point in your life?
I think I said it to you in Marbella, was one thing that defines my is again, I chase feelings and like perspectives and like objectives and goals and feelings, and like so success is a feeling. That feeling of success is I picture a situation is I text my sister, hey, and I'm like, hey, how are you getting on? And we had this conversation, and I'm like, do you have any holidays coming up? And she's like, yeah, I'm going over to see Isabel in the States, who's my other sister. And I'm like, sweet, what's your flight? They're like this, sweet, just upgraded you to first class. That for me is success. That's a very material thing, but it transcends materialism for me, because it's like, it's a freedom to do what you want. It's a freedom to almost take a very impulsive action, know that you're going to be comfortable, know that you're going to be safe, and benefit someone else. Then, because like, look, people who like giving to other people, it's for selfish reasons. It makes you feel good. Do you know? And that's what I want to do. I know I'm a selfish person, but a lot of my selfishness is derived from I like to make other people feel good because it makes me feel good, which is still selfishness, but it's good, right?
I love that.
And like success for me is that feeling of selfishness, of being like, I'm making people around me happier, grateful to have me in their lives, whether it's because I can do things like that for them, or you know, I know I make all my family laugh, I know my family love me, I know my family don't have to worry about me anymore, which was a huge thing for success for me. They didn't have to worry about me. You know, Dad now, instead of like talking about helping me get a job, like, do you need to get a job? He's like, have you thought about getting a mortgage? I'm like, fuck, come on, like, leave me alone, bro.
On to the next thing.
Yeah, on to the next thing. But like, he doesn't worry. You know, it's the fact that he knows I can do that.
Yeah.
Is like he's worrying about me because he wants me to be set up for the future, but he's not like and I remember he said it to me in treatment, and he's like got quite upset to my counselor. He was like, I'm worried my son is going to die before me. You know, so that stuff, those are success to me. And if there's one other way I can put it, it's probably like it's like my success are scenes. I've just described 2 scenes. Do you know have you seen Forrest Gump? You haven't?
No.
Okay. Have you seen any like movies where it's like down in Texas or down south and they live on a ranch?
Yeah.
They have the rocking chair on the porch, and it's just like man, his wife watching their kids on the porch, sunsetting, and it's like, Martha, it's a beautiful like that for me is success. That's just so like cute. That's your whole life. You know, just like simple.
Definitely.
Everything's going on in the background. It's fine. It's doing its job it needs to do, but and you can just do that. Time is success.
I love that. And even stems back to even what you said there about like simpleness is like success in a sense as well, because it is the simple things that actually mean the most in life. I don't know who this quote's by, but it's like, if you can't be grateful for a coffee, you won't be grateful for a Ferrari. It's like the little concept, you always have to just like appreciate the little things, and that is what success is at the end of the day. It's just been able to actually appreciate those simple things and just enjoy them for what they are in so many ways. And I know you mentioned feelings there, and you're a big like you chase feelings instead of goals in a sense as well. This is a bit of a random one, but what's your like top 3 most powerful, strong feelings that you like crave, chase, like that you like just love to have in your life?
When you can make, I love nothing more when I have a room full of people and everybody is like uncontrollably laughing. Like the ones where you can't, like, do you know the ones where someone laughs in a certain way and you've known them for 10 years?
Yeah.
You've never heard them laugh like that before. I love that. That's great. Passion, and honestly, grief is, I've had some of I can remember some of the most insane clarifying days of my life was when a family member has passed, or when someone close to me has passed. And I remember just like, and it's selfish, and it like someone, I said to someone, they were like, that I understand what you're saying, it is a kind of sick though, and I'm like, I understand. I remember when my granddad died in a very, like, she died very suddenly, and I remember going over to my friend's house and like talking to them, and like, boys, we're so lucky, like, you know, it can just be like that, none of us appreciate it. And I did this whole monologue in their living room while I think they were dying hungover, and they were like, Paddy, that was fucking wonderful. And it's grief, it's that room of people laughing, it's passion, you know, what's that, I don't know the name of the feeling, because for it, like, it's that feeling, you know, like you could probably book a flight to Bali tomorrow, like it would cost you a lot of money, you know,
like freedom,
yeah, like this, yeah, but it's this, like, it's this freedom with just like
power.
Yeah, is it freedom with, is it power? Is that power? Could be power. But it's just that, like, you're able, it's that feeling of doing, I can do whatever I want to do and I'm going to be okay.
That's class.
Security, that's it. Security is the feeling. Fucking hell. That was good.
Freedom with power.
Security is an unbelievable feeling. Feeling secure in finances, friendships, relationships, families, position you're going, position you are in life, direction you're heading, is an unreal feeling, yeah.
I absolutely love that. And what you said there, I love how you mentioned this kind of like grief as well, like all types of feelings, because it's the sense of like life's supposed to be lived, and you don't live like a full life unless you experience like negative feelings as well as positive ones. So it's like, it's fucking class there. I love the way you share kind of grief too, which is perfect.
Rock bottom. I genuinely like being at rock bottom. I was around rock bottom in the conversation with Sean in Marbella. I was at rock bottom when I went into treatment. Every time I've hit rock bottom, I hit rock bottom recently, and I'm actually excited now, because my history of my life is when I hit rock bottom, my life gets extra dimensionally better. So I actually like hitting rock bottom. I wish I didn't have to do it all the time.
Would you say the rock bottoms are like, this is rock bottom, but the next rock bottom's here, the next rock bottom's here, or are they all like really low?
So this is very interesting. Okay, my first rock bottom, I was in like, look, I say my first rock bottom was a rock bottom. I had a family who, like, my family are quite wealthy. My dad's like, if you ever want to go back to college, you can. We can do that. You're never going to be out in the streets. You know, if you moved country, we'd figure something out. I was in a position in life that like 0.0001% is, okay? My rock bottom in the grand scheme of things was not that low, but for me it was very low. The feeling, the position I'm in at each rock bottom in life has gotten boom. Yeah. But that feeling, like personal feeling in here that I cannot explain to people when I'm going through it, is the exact same. Like people will say to me, like, yeah, but you're sober now. I'm like, I don't care. You know, I don't, in that moment I don't care, because I'm like, I just feel I feel like the exact same person every time. It's horrible. It's very humbling. It's very, very humbling. Like right now I'm grateful for it, because I know it'll happen again, and I know I'll bounce back again. Even in the moment when I'm there, I'm like, I know I'll bounce back from this, but I can't lean into that. I can only lean into the negativity, and I feel there's definitely a way I can not do it like that, but it's kind of toxic, but it works. I don't know if I want to fix it, because it just does work. Like when I'm feeling it, I hate it, but right now I'm grateful for going through those like really shit 6 months, 4 months, 5 months, because I just wouldn't have gotten where I am now.
As big a kind of push back up again, almost, in a sense. And even, I suppose, even though the feeling is the same, you have the evidence there that you've been through this feeling before and you've got past it. So it's like, as much as it is like the same feeling, it's probably never going to be as bad as that first time, knowing that like this is maybe I won't get through this, maybe like all those questioning like kind of factors that come into place, but the fact you've gone through it a number of times, it just gives you that evidence that it will pass, and even though like you might not feel it in the moment, you know it's going to pass.
I know deep down I can't feel it when I'm going through it that it'll pass, but like those questions, those ones were like, I won't get over this one, and maybe I peaked, or maybe that was as good as my life's going to get. Like I think those and I feel those, but like, you know, life's better now. You know, I've been in better positions in life when I felt worse.
Yeah,
so like, you know,
that is really powerful.
Yeah.
And last question for you, what is something that you're looking forward to in the next, we'll say, 6 months? And on a happy note.
Work. I'm really excited to work. I'm really excited to I'm hanging out with more people. Like, I'm excited to meet new people. Like I met Dave Fell.
Dave's a legend. Dave's a legend. Dave's told my potty of Valley in November.
We need to make a short just talking about Dave Fell. I met Dave and I met Dave in Dublin. I was not sure of Dave, okay? And like we all said it, Dave, we were not sure of you when we met you in Dublin. And Dave Fell has had the most miraculous like comeback and all. He didn't even do anything wrong in Dublin. He was just drunk and asking questions. Dave loves his questions. But now we know him, and like I met Dave. I lived with him for 2 weeks. Like, and me and Dave are like, let's go to Machu Picchu, South America together. Like fucking, like I met Dave and I was like, Dave, I've never, like, you don't understand. Like, you give out so many compliments and you bring your friends up. Like, that's not common in Ireland. Do you know? And he's like, it's not common in England either, but I go out of my way to do it. I'm like, fuck, like I'm there for my, like I know I'm a very good friend, and like I you know, I'll make fun of my friends, we all should do, and you know, like keep them humble. But like if my friend's going through a bad time, like I'll drop work. I told clients, I'm like, guys, I can't do work for you today. I have a friend going through a bad time, and that's just me. Do you know? But like meet new people. Met Dave. Met you, met Emer, like, you know, and it's like I'm excited to meet new people. I'm excited to have like these type of conversations. I'm excited to work. I brought on 4 clients this week. They all look like I'm excited to not get them a result. I'm excited to get to know them. I met Sean Fontaine, great name, Sean Fontaine from from Maine. I'm going to probably go over to see him next month. Still need to book that actually. But just like. I'm looking forward to those opportunities that I don't know are coming. Those options that like you don't know are there right now, and I can't wait for them. Like I know I'm gonna get into trouble in Bali. I know I'm looking forward to getting this fucking tattoo in Bali. You know, because it's just like an experience, and I'm looking forward to work. I'm looking forward to figuring out social media again because it's changed. I think I'm getting a rope of it. I'm excited to be a better version of my old self. Sean said something, and he won't mind saying this. He said it they were talking about a thing, they were talking about something for the social circle, and they were like, Dave was like, what about Paddy? And Sean said, like, when Paddy's on it, he's on it. He's so on it. When Paddy's low, it's like he's a different person. And I'm very much I feel on it. I don't feel like that, but I'm very much looking forward to talking to the low guy again and talking to the on it guy. I'm very much looking forward to those 2 conversations. Yeah. Because you can figure out an insane amount of shit. I'm excited to be lonely for a while. I'm excited for the lonely. It was Alex Hormozy who talks about the lonely phase. I'm looking forward to the lonely phase. I'm excited for my group of clients. They have a lot of exciting stuff coming up. I'm excited for my friends. Social circles opening back up, Green's open. I'm really excited to see the guys succeed. I'm excited to see Ireland play New Zealand. Of course, got to throw rugby in there. I'm excited for Connacht's new season. I'm excited for the Lions tour next year. That's next year, but there's a lot to look forward to. You know, there's always a lot to look forward to. There is. You know, it's just where you are in that subjective moment in time. That, like, never let a subjective moment in time dictate your objective goals or wants in life. You know, I boil it back down to, I say this to my clients, they're like, I failed, I went over my calories, and I'm like, how'd you feel? And they're like, fucking awful. I'm like, sweet, you won't care about it in 5 years time. Yeah. You know, don't let now, it's like what we said earlier on, you know, if you're sitting there at 6 p.m, 8 p.m. at the end of your evening, and you're like, I'm excited, I'm like, I got a good bit done today, and you got the exact same done the next day, but you're like, I'm really upset about it, I didn't do more. Which person is going to get more done the next day. Do you know?
That's it.
I'm
The
excited.
momentum that
Yeah,
will
the
carry into the
momentum.
rest of the
I'm
week.
excited for
sure.
momentum. Yeah, I'm
I
excited for
love
momentum.
that. I absolutely love that. I think that's a fucking phenomenal note to end on.
Yeah.
Thank you
Great
so
time.
much
Thank
for
you.
coming on. That was a great combo. Absolutely buzzing.